Okay. Okay, so, I've come up with I think my final integration of Whimsy's romance tiers. Um, and I already recorded, I guess, a rough draft of what a tier list video would be for Whimsy's Mass Effect romances. Um, and but I'm not sure. I might wait until the end of Mass Effect 3. Also, update on Mass Effect 3. Part of the reason why I'm starting like an hour and a half later than I usually do, I try to start around 8 o'clock Central Time. For evening streams anyway, if not a little earlier than that. It's not unusual for there to be some variance. But anyway, I was downloading a massive mod for Mass Effect 3 called Project Variety. And then a number of other mods that like have compatibility patches for Project Variety. That just sounded interesting. It sounded like things that I would want to have, including one that makes Ashley look more like she did in Mass Effect 1 and 2. It doesn't really make a lot of I mean, besides her body being a little different, I'm not sure if that's still the case even with the modification to her hairstyle. I do think that the hairstyle that she has in Mass Effect 1 and 2 just feels like it fits her character a lot more than having her just suddenly let her hair down. Like, she's, she's very much like a soldier. She has kind of like a Captain Janeway hairdo. Or at least like first season. I can't remember. I think Captain Janeway eventually let her hair down. In some of the later seasons, maybe. But anyway, but like it was still like short. So like having like the supermodel hairstyle and general appearance kind of just didn't fit Ashley very much at all, and makes her practically unrecognizable in Mass Effect 3. So I feel like the Consistency Project, which I think is what's called, is really going to be helpful here. I'm thinking I may just kind of go all out with trying to do the multi-romance thing and just experimenting with it as much as I can. Experimenting with the save editor. I'm probably gonna have the save editor just open alongside the game so that I can, save the game, maybe even twice, then edit one of those saves, then load it, and then continue. So we don't have to exit the game necessarily to make the changes. Might even have a notepad file just keeping track of like, okay, these are the things I've edited and how to find them, and if I need to change something back to continue a romance with such and such, and to get past their jealousy blocks. Because I'm a little curious about like whether or not jealousy blocks are even going to work per se with certain characters. Because like, okay, like what happens is I have like the more gay romance option on, and since like Tally is technically a gay romance that isn't possible during the base game, like would that mean that like let's say I'm romancing Tally and Garrus at the same time, for example, would that mean that like when Garrus reaches his jealousy check, basically, would he not even mention Tally? Because he wouldn't be programmed to like be like, well, what about your relationship with Tally? Because there is no relationship. There couldn't be, like, in the base game, a relationship with Tally. So, like, his script should probably not even check that. So, like, there are, like, certain romances that I could do as multiple romances, and it would only maybe be a little buggy toward the end when the romance scene is supposed to play. In which case, I had to, like, basically save just before the romance scene is supposed to queue up, and then disable every romance except the romance I want to watch next, and then play that, then go back, reload the save, then toggle off every romance except for the next one I want to play. And it would probably help with Garrus because, well, I would like to continue the romance. There's gonna be some caveats we'll discuss maybe later, but it's still a little bit of a shame that Whimsy has very little interest in James romantically or otherwise, in spite of the. I mean, we just had to headcanon out the way that Jennifer Hale portrays, and the motion capture or whatever it is that they did, the animation. Let's just say the animation, and voice acting, the voice direction, really, of Shepard's interactions with James, because I feel it was a very wrong move to not make it very clear like what options would be flirting, and even the options that may not be flirting still kind of feel like flirting, and that's like, this is coming from someone who is autistic. Like, I'm not supposed to be able to pick up on flirting. Like, maybe after playing so many video games with characters flirting, I refined my ability to identify flirting. Like, there are two possibilities. Either I refined my ability to pick up on characters flirting with each other, or the flirting is a little over the top. But, like, if you're playing a gay, a lesbian Commander Shepard, there's no way she'd be flirting with James. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Trainmaster. Let's go and...
The team is getting dangerously close to finding Miranda's sister. Are you ready to go?
Oh, Miranda's sister. Let's go!
I'm ready whenever you are, Miranda.
Thank you, Shepard. I appreciate this. I hadn't planned on Eclipse, but they never planned on you.
I may have brought James along the last time too, but whatever. I'll try to save up some points for whatever I decide to do for our... Oh, she has a lot. I really haven't been utilizing her at all. The squad, defense or offense? And our weapon damage is pretty good anyway, so.
Damn it! It Eclipse mercenary gunships. They'll be dropping troops in the cargo areas.
Put us down in that cover behind them.
Let's hope they really do want to take us alive.
Nope.
Hold fire! I said hold fire, damn it! I got this.
Since you're not firing yet, I trust you know who I am.
Yeah, they said you'd be in the car. You're the bitch that kidnapped our boss's little girl.
Kidnapped? This doesn't involve you. I suggest you take your men and go.
Think you've got it all lined up, huh? Captain Inyala's already moving in on the kid. She knows about Niket. He won't be helping you.
What do you mean Niket won't be helping us?
Nothing you need to worry about. Nobody's gonna get killed unless you do something stupid. You walk away now, the girl goes back to her father, and everybody's happy.
Everybody but my sister. And me.
Should we be talking to Captain Inyala about this?
You don't want to talk to the captain. She's not as polite as I am. She's the best commando I've ever seen. I've seen her tear people in half with her biotics. And she's getting paid a lot to stop you.
She gets in my way, she'll never have a chance to spend it.
Wait, Miranda, you said she was your twin sister.
That what she told you? No, this crazy bitch kidnapped our boss's baby daughter. He's been looking for her for more than a decade.
It's complicated, Shepard. We share the same DNA, just not the same birthday.
You took a baby from the richest guy in the galaxy, lady. I don't know what your damage is, but you're not getting away with it.
You're not getting Miranda's sister. If you push this, it'll go badly for you.
Captain Inyala ordered us to give you one chance to walk away. This whole time we've been talking, my men have been lining up shots. When I say the word, we unleash hell in your squad. So I suggest you walk away nicely, unless you want things...
I've been lining up shots too in my head.
Spotted.
I've got him! Tag!
Everybody? If anybody's still alive, you tell me, so I can kill you.
Come on, we need to get to Niket.
Hostile!
Enemy down! Hang on, I've got one of their radios. I'll patch us in, see if I can get an idea of what we're up against. Shepard, I think I owe you an explanation. Oriana is my twin, genetically. But my father grew her when I was a teenager. She was meant to replace me. I couldn't let my father do to her what he did to me. So I rescued her. She's almost a woman now.
Why didn't you tell me that we were saving a kid?
She's not a child. She'll be 19 this year. But, well, it didn't seem relevant at the time, I suppose. There are people who'd use her against me. I'm very protective when it comes to Oriana. I'm sorry I didn't trust you sooner. You deserved to know.
I can understand choosing to go your own way, but you stole a young child from her father.
If you knew my father, you would understand. I wasn't the first one he made. I was only the first one he kept. I was brought up with no friends, pushed to meet impossible demands. I wasn't a daughter to him. I don't know what I was. Oriana has had a normal life. I made the right decision.
If Eclipse knows where Oriana is, they'll be moving in on her soon. We need to hurry.
Agreed. I'm a bit worried by what the Merc said. If they've got to Niket somehow, this is going to be harder than I'd planned. According to the specs I reviewed, we'll need to cut through the cargo processing yard to get to Oriana.
Can you tell me anything about the cargo processing yard?
We'll be moving through conveyor systems. There'll be a lot of movement. Finding targets won't be easy. We'll need to stay sharp. And these cargo transports carry hazardous materials. So watch what you shoot at.
I hope your friend can be trusted.
Absolutely. Niket is one of my oldest friends. I guess you could say he was my only real friend. He's the only person I didn't cut ties with when I left my father.
Is there a chance your father could be using Niket to get to you?
I'm sure he's tried, but Niket's one of the few people who understands what my father is really like. I trusted him with my life when I ran from my father, Shepard. He won't betray me now.
Let's go find Niket and Oriana.
Right. They're on the far side of the conveyor line. Time your shots. We're compromised. Watch your fire!
We can use this.
Incoming! Hostile drone!
Divert everyone except my guard from Niket. I'll handle him and the kid personally.
Damn it, I'm not letting her get Oriana.
Okay, I get it.
Charge him up! I got him.
Fucking teamwork!
Enemy drone!
Trouble ahead.
I've got him! Stun him! Right between the eyes!
Clear? Hey, not clear. Not clear whether we're clear.
Light him up. Hostile combat drone. We can cut down through the cargo line.
I think that DualSense application that I got that allows me to like customize things was a pretty good investment.
Eclipse operatives have attempted to delay you by disabling the elevators. I am overriding their lockdown. Niket has reached the terminal. He'll switch the family over to our transport.
Niket. But that can't be right. Maybe the captain knows we're listening in and she's feeding misinformation about Niket making a switch. Or maybe it means something else. Niket wouldn't do that. Damn it, why wouldn't the thing go any faster?
Did Niket know that you took Oriana from your father?
No, he just found out about that recently. It was too personal to involve someone else. I never really thought about it, but maybe... No, he'd have to understand why I did it. He knows what I went through.
What makes you so sure that Niket wouldn't turn on you?
He could have turned on me when I ran away. I'm sure my father tried to buy him off. If he didn't do it then, why would he do it now?
We won't know anything until we find Niket.
And then I'll have a word with this captain and Yala.
Listen to me. I've got authorization to change their booking.
I'm sorry, sir. We're under security lockdown. Until the situation in the cargo terminal is resolved, no passengers can be rebooked.
This isn't worth my time, Niket. I get paid regardless of how the girl gets there.
No. I was told that I could handle this my way. We're not traumatizing the family any more than we... Miri.
This should be fun.
Niket, you sold me out.
How do you want to handle this, Miranda?
Why, Niket? You were my friend. You helped me get away from my father.
Yes, because you wanted to leave. That was your choice. But if I'd known that you'd stolen a baby...
I didn't steal her. I rescued her.
From a life of wealth and happiness, you weren't saving her. You were getting back at your father.
How did Miranda's father turn you?
They told me you'd kidnapped your baby sister all those years ago. They said I could help get her back peacefully. No trauma to the family. I told them you'd never do that. They could go to hell. And you finally told me what you'd done. I called them back that night.
Why didn't you call me, Niket? We've been through a lot. You could have at least let me explain.
I deserve to know that you'd stolen your sister, Miri. I deserve to know you were with Cerberus. But I had to hear it from your father first.
How much did Miranda's father pay you?
A great deal.
Damn it, Niket! You were the only one I trusted from that life.
He knew you felt that way. That's why he bought me.
So you just took his money.
Don't get holy with me, Miri. You took his money for years.
I knew Eclipse was willing to get their hands dirty, but kidnapping a kid?
I'm not stealing her. I'm rescuing her. Come on, Niket. Let's finish this bitch off and get out of here.
Take your best shot.
I was just waiting for you to finish getting dressed. Or does Cerberus really let you whore around in that outfit?
Whether or not you agree with Miranda, Oriana has been with her family for years now.
Her father can still give her a better life.
You don't know what my father wants for her.
I know that I've been poor, Miri. I didn't much care for it.
He wants to take a girl away from the only family she's ever known. Doesn't that tell you what he really is?
If you're working for Miranda's father, that means he knows about Oriana. We need to find a new solution.
Miranda's father has no information about Oriana. I knew you had spy programs in your father's system, Miri, so I kept it private. I'm the only one who knows.
Which means that you're the only loose end. This isn't how I wanted it to end, Niket.
Miranda, wait. You don't want to do this.
This has to end here, Shepard. My father will keep trying to find Oriana.
Maybe Niket can help. Talk to your father. Just say you got here first.
I'll tell him that you hid her. That I don't know where she is.
I never want to see you again, Niket.
Done. Now, if you don't mind, I have a shipment to deliver.
You'll die for that, bitch! I'll tear you apart! Engaging hostile! There could be more Eclipse mercs near the shuttle. I want to make sure Oriana and her family get on safely.
Investigate the area. Make sure there's no stragglers or loot.
I can't believe Nickette sold me out. I didn't even see it coming.
Even with all your upgrades, you're human just like the rest of us.
But I let it get personal and I screwed up. Why didn't you let me kill him? I could have handled that. But watching him get gunned down by that Asari bitch.
You still cared for him, even if he betrayed you.
You're right. And my father knew it. He used that against me. It's always been like this. My father gave me anything I ever wanted. But there was always a hook, an angle for his long-term plan. I threw away everything he ever gave me when I ran. Except Nickette. Weakness on my part?
You can't toss aside everything you care about just to be safe.
It's okay, Shepard. My father hurt me, but he didn't break me. As much as he tried to turn me into exactly what he wanted, I'm my own person.
Any other old friends your father might use against you?
No, I cut ties with everyone else. Anyone I'm close to now works for Cerberus. Or you. My father's powerful, but he won't cross the elusive man.
You still have Oriana.
My father didn't give her to me. I rescued her, but yes, you're right. I still have something. Thank you. No sign of Eclipse. It looks like we're clear. There she is. She's safe. With her family. Come on, we should go.
Don't you even want to say hello?
It's not about what I want, it's about what's right for her. The less she knows about me, the better. She's got a family. A life. I'll just complicate that for her.
She doesn't need any details, but would it really be so bad for her to know she has a sister who loves her?
I guess not.
Go on. We'll wait here.
I didn't notice that before. There's that little teary-eyed look there.
Jack and Miranda are in the middle of a disagreement. Can you head it off before they tear out a bulkhead?
I'll deal with it.
Take pictures.
Touch me and I will smear the walls with you, bitch!
Enough! Stand down, both of you.
The cheerleader won't admit what Cerberus did to me was wrong.
It wasn't Cerberus. Not really. But clearly you were a mistake.
Screw you! You've got no idea what they put me through. Maybe it's time I showed you.
Our mission is too important to let personal feelings get in the way.
Fuck your feelings. I just want her dead.
You both know what we're up against. Save your anger for the collectors.
I can put aside my differences until the mission's over.
Sure, I'll do my part. I'd hate to see her die before I get a chance to fillet her myself.
You two gonna be okay?
It's a good thing you came by when you did. As long as she does her job, we'll be fine. Thanks, Shepard.
And now we convenient.
Thanks again, Shepard. Taking the time to help me with my sister. I couldn't have reached Oriana in time without your help. I'm glad Niket tried to redeem himself, for what good it did. Thank you for stopping me, Commander.
Is this how you see you smile of flirtation?
Are you happy about your sister's relocation?
She has what I wanted her to have. A normal life, and the freedom to choose her own path. And she knows she has an older sister. A friend.
You never told me what you talked about.
I introduced myself. Her family was shocked. She adjusted quickly, of course. She's as smart as I am. She plays the violin, loves the Adagio movement of Nielsen's Fifth, just like I do. She wants to work in colony development. Told a joke about it. She's really funny, something we don't share.
That's funny. I think of you as all business. Good to see that there's a person under there.
That's interesting.
The mission's too important to
Okay.
let personal feelings interfere. But thank you, Commander. My sister is safe again thanks in large part to you. I won't forget that.
I need to look up exactly the nature of the potential glitchiness with romancing Miranda. I'm not even sure if it necessarily applies for FemShep. Why am I on slimjim.com? Probably because I actually clicked it. No. There you go. Description. Okay. The only thing off culmination cutscene order is if you romance Miranda. Shepard will go from the bridge to start the mission to their cabin for most of the culmination scenes. To back to the bridge for Miranda's culmination scene. That's because the game considers Miranda the default romance option, making her the last on the list to start her scene, and calculates everything alongside the LE1 romance in a separate file. Huh. That's... The game considers, it's off. So, if we decide to romance Miranda... Because like... The, 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 the thing is here, like, what Whimsy, 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 was doing here with Miranda wasn't like wasn't necessarily like intended to be flirting, but because she literally thinks it's nice to see Miranda expressing emotions. Now, granted, she had to like really, really work it out with Jap. Like really, really, just be like. I'm not even sure how that conversation would go, to be honest. Like, she would definitely, like, the last thing she would do is see Miranda behind Jack's back. Like, it might even be something like, you know, it might even be something like, you know, if I get close to her enough to her that like maybe like I don't know, it might be something like I have a very strong feeling that like Cerberus is gonna stab us in the back at the end, and the closer I am to Miranda, the more likely it is that she'll be like our ally at the end of it. And Cerberus will have one less ass at.
People are talking out there, and I hear it all. My heart goes out to Miranda and her sister. That's a rough situation. It must have been really hard for Samara to ask you to help kill her own daughter. She told me she really appreciated your help. As hardcore as she is, I'm not sure she could have done it without you. I'm really glad you got Tally out of trouble with the migrant fleet. It's hard to see her upset. Come back later. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about.
Also, Whimsy has a thing for Asian girls with penchant for kleptomania, but
Shepard,
I wanted to check in.
I am always happy to talk with you.
also another like random thought that came to me is that the only way that Whimsy would potentially sleep with Jacob at all would be if Kasumi was involved.
I'm interested in hearing more about Asari Justicars.
We hold a unique place in Asari culture. Justicars are from another era. Young Asari grow up watching vids about our adventures. Pure fiction, of course. Some Asari are uncomfortable with us, but so few Justicars exist that most have never met one.
But I don't think I'd go that far.
There are only a few Justicars?
Few Asari wish to make the sacrifices necessary to become one of us, and the training has a high casualty rate. It is a life of constant danger. Throughout the entire galaxy, there are only a handful of us at any time.
Why would anyone want to be a Justicar?
It is a deeply personal matter. Sometimes the most brutal path is the only honest one.
This code of the Justicar seems central to your life.
It is
It
5,000
just mirrors
secrets and covers every
Whimsy
situation one can
hovering a little
encounter.
bit of the
I
ground.
have memorized every word. There is only the code.
Sometimes justice calls for mercy.
It does not exist to bring about spiritual enlightenment. Its purpose is to punish the wicked and protect the innocent.
So, in other words, she is lawful good.
The Asari I've spoken to seem conflicted about Justicars.
In this age, people see shades of gray everywhere. The code of the Justicar is black and white. I might seem a hero to many, but I would kill all of them if I had to.
What role do you think Justicars have in Asari society?
I would say that the closest human equivalent is a knight-errant in your medieval lore. Perhaps mixed with a bit of samurai.
What does your code say about killing?
I am compelled to kill the wicked. If a Justicar is involved, peaceful solutions are long past.
You make killing sound so casual.
I remember each being I have slain.
Yeah, she's
always
hovering above the
with us.
ground. I don't know. I just was
Does
curious.
the code forbid romantic involvement?
It does not. However, I would never be interested in such. That part of my life is well behind me.
We're not going to push any further than that.
You know about knights errant and samurai?
When I knew I must leave Asari space again, I studied the history and morals of new species. When I was a maiden wandering the galaxy, humans had not yet arrived.
What did your studies tell you about us?
You are more individualistic than any other species I have encountered. If 3 humans are in a room, there will be 6 opinions. I like your species. I am curious to see what you will do.
She's...
I should go.
I'm glad we spoke.
I'm very particular about who Whimsy does and does not romance. 'Cause I think it has to be like necessary in order to not turn this into a complete harem anime. That she doesn't like romance every woman she meets, or even becomes close with. So I think that Whimsy's opinion of Samara is like, I don't know, she finds like most of the women in her squad to be physically attractive. Like that's not even really a factor for her anyway, because she's surrounded by attractive women. So it really comes down to I guess individual taste in a way. And I feel like she only has like room for, or she might only have room for one Asari in her heart. So that's part of it, maybe a little bit. But also, like, she just does not see Samara as being like a romantically compatible person with her. Like, she respects Samara. She respects the righteousness of her code, but Whimsy is very much chaotic good. So they're maybe a little too far apart in that regard as well. And I think they just have like too little in common, I guess, on that front. Like, on a fundamental part of Whimsy's morality is that in order to do the right thing, or to, you know, you have to make moral judgments on the fly. You have to be open to making moral judgments on the fly. And sometimes that means shoving people out of a window. I mean, I wonder how much of... I think so far I probably ignored more Paragon options than Renegade options for the prompts. Because, like, really, Mass Effect 2 has probably the best Renegade interrupts in the series. In fact, I think one of the big complaints I've heard about Mass Effect 3 is that the Renegade options in Mass Effect 3 are really lean a lot more towards evil, rather than the more nuanced approach of 1 and 2, where it's a spectrum of things, and it's a variety of qualities ranging from things that are, in my estimation, evil. I could go on. I don't know. I feel like I just want to talk a lot here. Like, my definition of evil, because I think one of the big problems with the morality system in Dungeons and Dragons is how ill-defined the individual axes are. Like, they'll talk all about, like, this is what it means to be chaotic good, this is what it means to be lawful good, lawful neutral, etc., etc. Like, this is what the individual combinations mean. But, like, they're very unclear on what good means, what evil means, what chaotic means, what lawful means. And they don't need to be unclear. They can be very specific and just make it a very basic, fundamental idea. And then give the player the wiggle room to interpret, like, where, like, make it a spectrum as well, so that, like, the player can decide where they are on the spectrum, and maybe where they stand in a more nuanced way within the more specific framework. So anyway, Law and Chaos are fairly simple. Actually, even Good and Evil are fairly simple. But Law and Chaos are... Is your morality system very codified and very particular? Like, Samara, her is probably, like, the ultimate example of a lawful character, because she has her code, which kind of tells her what she should do in every situation, in nearly every situation. And she follows it with very few exceptions, except, you know, when she's sworn herself to a person like us, then is the only time where she could have a little more moral flexibility. even then, the moral flexibility really isn't there so much because it's like she does whatever we want her to do. I guess within maybe some degree of reason, but yeah, like she's still following the code in that case, you know? You know, if we ask her to kill someone, she'll kill them. But if she finds out later that the person we asked her to kill was an innocent or something, once she's released from her obligation to us, she will probably hunt us down and kill us. Because the code demands that as well. As an example. It doesn't even give her... That's more of a case of her lawfulness overriding her goodness than heck, she might even be lawful neutral in a way, now that I think about it. Like, she might at least lean neutral, though I think the code is very much centered around righteousness and goodness. It can sometimes require her to be ruthless, which in my system would make her a little more neutral than strictly good, which we'll get to later. Being chaotic means that you have very few to no rules whatsoever. In fact, I guess on the far extreme version of chaotic, you just don't have rules. You might have a few guidelines, especially if you're good. If you're good aligned, and you know there are still some things you will and won't do because you're wanting to be good. And then, like, neutrality is always a thing. It just means that you're closer to the center than you are to leaning particularly toward one or the other. That's, I guess, what neutrality means in general. So good and evil are a measure of... And this took me years to just really think about it, because I thought maybe it's altruism and selfishness, but the altruism and selfishness kind of feel like their own thing. And for a while I thought of adding altruism and selfishness as like their own axis to alignment as like a way to augment it. But then, like, when I presented that idea, a lot of people were kind of opposed to it, at least in the D&D groups that I have presented it to. I think maybe it's been one, but yeah, like, a lot of my feedback on that idea was like, it doesn't seem really necessary to add another axis to it. And so, taking that in, I ultimately arrived at the idea that good and evil are a measure, and there are a lot of things that I've seen in fiction that really reinforce this idea. Good and evil are a measure of how willing you are to harm people or allow people to come to harm in order to pursue your goals. It's relatively simple, but also I think fairly elegant, if that's not too egotistical of me to say. I don't know what presumptuous, because, like, if you look at like a villain, like, say in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the High Evolutionary, and this is not going into too many spoilers, this is just a summary of his character, really. He wants to create the perfect society. He wants to engineer the perfect society where everyone, like, lives in peace and harmony and everything is perfect. But if anything goes wrong at any point, he just, like, he engineers, like, life forms. You know, he creates people who are sentient and sapient in societies filled with sentient and sapient people. But if anything goes wrong with that society, he's like, we'll just clear it out and start a new one. Or if any individual isn't quite up to his standards of perfection, he'll just kill them. You know, he is incredibly callous. And that's what makes him evil. Even though he has, like, a goal that could be considered altruistic, to create a harmonious society where everyone is, I guess, good to each other, potentially. And aggression and things like that are just removed from the equation. The fact that he's just willing to dispose of anything that isn't up to his standards makes him evil. He's willing to harm people. He's willing to hurt people in pursuit of his goals. Although, like, I guess you could argue that, like, that he doesn't actually have to wipe out all the civilizations he makes in pursuit of his goals, but I don't know. There's whatever. Like, the point still stands. You could have someone like the guy who's trying to cure the genophage is another example of that. Like, he wants to help the Krogan. He wants to make up for the wrongs that have been done against the Krogan. But he is willing to do incredibly unethical research to achieve that. Because to him, the ends justify the means. And a good person generally steers away from that mindset, or is like, yeah. Or a good person should. And that's not to say that evil characters can't consider themselves good, because that's a very common trope these days. And that's kind of the point of defining good and evil in that fashion. Like, it's kind of like what makes a person undeniably evil. Their willingness to harm people. Like, you could have a person who is good and selfish. Maybe even good for selfish reasons. You could have an evil character who is altruistic and has altruistic aspirations and goals. So, yeah. Granted, it'd be very rare to have a good character, especially in any kind of fiction, that is completely like, I'm not going to harm anyone whatsoever for any reason. Like, having a true pacifist character in, like, Dungeons and Dragons in particular isn't really going to work. Like, it could be an interesting, almost joke character, but they're probably not going to survive very long. Anyway. I would say that as a polyamorous person, Whimsy does have, I guess, a lot of types. It's just a matter of which category they fall into. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the new category. So I think I finally come up with, like, a way to, properly categorize all of Whimsy. I'm going into all these tangents about all the things. I think I started talking about it, and I don't think I finished the thought. So anyway, I find something that falls into, I think, a standard array of a tier list. So, I guess starting from the bottom, because basically, usually a lot of tier lists go from S to A, B, C, and D. And usually don't go, although I think I have an E rank now, especially given the way that at least the tier list I found goes. So E list is someone who's dead. D is characters who are just friends, which is probably going to be the largest part of the list. C is friends with benefits and possible romance. So some of them might have a little bit of a romantic inclination, but there may be some dating going on. A degree of feelings, because I think they're very important to Whimsy as a demisexual person. That there'd be some degree of feelings going on, but it could be just feelings of friendship, mostly. Then there's B and A, which are both involve romantic attachments, but and B is kind of a new tier, because it's people who are attached to Whimsy that Whimsy is not quite attached to. So basically, like, once we get in, so the idea of tiers is that there's different like rules and different arrangements that happen with the partners in different tiers. So for like for friends of benefits, it's kind of anything goes. There's no obligations. There's no particular commitment going on, aside from I guess the commitment to be together for as long as we can. As long as the relationship works. Like, if they find someone who, while they're dating other people, who wants an exclusive relationship, and they care about that person deeply and decide, you know what, I actually kind of want this. Whimsy's going to be very supportive of that, and there's not going to be any qualms or jealousy or anything like that. It's just like, hey, good luck with this new relationship. I hope we can still be friends. At B tier, it's a situation where a person is more attached to Whimsy than Whimsy is attached to them. And Whimsy recognizes this and respects it, and it's basically, there's kind of a voting process that happens in B tier and above. So like, if Whimsy decides to take on a new partner, there's kind of a gathering, I guess. Like, she's going to consult her other partners and be like, okay, like, this is the person that I'm starting to develop a relationship with, I'm starting to develop feelings for, and I want to make sure you guys are okay with that. And it will come to something of a vote. And it's somewhere between needing to be unanimous and being a majority rules. It's somewhere between that. Because Whimsy would prefer if everyone is okay with it. Because if one partner is not okay with it, that's really, that could be it for that particular partner. It could, that particular partner would be like, well, if you're going to be with this person, I'm out. Like Jack and Miranda. Like, that's a good example of that. Like, if like, Jack is probably going to need quite a lot of persuading to accept Miranda as a prospective partner for Whimsy. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to roleplay that. I have some ideas. I could make a roll to persuade Jack to I'm not sure if I'm going to do it just yet. Uh, I would hope that Jack would understand how good a judge of character Whimsy tends to be. And, like, trust that, like, I also kind of feel like her recent confrontation with Miranda is a little out of character at this point in Jack's arc. Like, that's actually kind of a problem I have with it. Because that cutscene is only plays when we've maxed out our relationship, or not. Well, when we've completed both Jack and Miranda's loyalty missions. Granted, I don't know. I do feel like Jack at the point, I would imagine at least that, like, granted, there's the romance stuff, and some of that might even be regardless of romance, of whether or not we're intending to romance her, that we might help her to cool down a little bit, and soften up as a character. It sort out some of her anger issues. So you could argue to some extent that this scene is potentially meant to play out a lot earlier, like potentially before we finish up the lingering interactions with Jack. Because that's a problem in a lot of games. Is that, you know, due to the open nature of aspects of the game. I'm going off on a total tangent here, aren't I? Anyway, Jack is more attached to. It would fit into the category of being more attached to Whimsy than Whimsy is attached to her. It's not to say that, like, that Whimsy does not feel anything for Jack at all, because she has to. Like, it's a requirement of her being part of what I'm starting to consider calling the coterie rather than a harem. Because harem has too much of a negative connotation. But yeah, like, Jack would have a vote, basically. And if Jack says nay, then we either have to have a conversation or potentially just be like, okay, well, I have to decide, do we care more about maintaining our relationship with Jack, or do we care more about pursuing Miranda romantically? Anyway, A tier is romantically attached, usually mutual, always mutual. It's a degree of mutual romantic attachment. For Whimsy, if she happened to stumble across someone who she was romantically attached to, but the other person more just wanted to be like a friend to, but the person was more comfortable being in the C tier where they're just friends with benefits, then Whimsy would just respect that person and be like, okay, like, I feel a lot more attached to you, but if you don't feel as attached to me, like, I'm cool with just being on that level. And you know, letting you do you, and if your opinion changes, great. If it doesn't, then, or if again that person meets someone that wants to be exclusive, it's fine. She can let go of her attachments if on the, you know, if that's the state of the relationship. So A is a degree of mutual attachment. Well, both parties still are okay with things being open. It's just a matter of if they run into a situation. I guess that's the other thing about B tier. The thing that B and C have in common is that if Jack were to meet someone who wanted to be exclusive, or if Jack were to meet anyone and decide to get romantic with them, Jack would not need her approval to become romantically entangled with someone else. It is only if Whimsy wants to be romantically entangled with another person that Jack gets a vote. But Whimsy has no vote in Jack's, liaisons or whatever you want to call them. Okay, I think I finished B, but so A is like both ways. If the partner wants to be involved with someone else, Whimsy wants to be able to have the ability to improve. If Whimsy wants to be with someone else, she's giving them a vote. And again, it's ideally it'll be like a degree of majority rules where any dissenting voices are basically kind of calm down on the issue because they realize they're outnumbered. But it can't fully, it's ideally unanimous, and yeah, because again, any one dissenting vote is gonna be one person who could potentially just decide I'm done. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about A tier. S tier is basically one true love, a person that it's to some extent by definition one person. It could potentially become more than one, but it's unlikely to happen. But it's like the one person that she would kind of potentially die for. If she's put into a situation where multiple of her partners are in danger and there's no easy way to rescue them all at once, she'll go after that person first. She'll try to save them all, but like that person will be her priority. And I guess that's kind of all there is to say about that. And of course the entire tier system. And the rules involved. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bathroom break here. Hopefully I won't have to hopefully this is not boring anyone. I don't think I'm gonna need to recharge. This is gonna be a shorter stream anyway. Be back in a few minutes and then we'll actually get the gameplay. I swear. Thanks if you've been staying with me for this. Like it is actually one of the rare instances where I actually talk. I am terrible at doing talking and gameplay at the same time. Something I hope to get better at. But anyway, let's get on with it. Be back in a few. And my controller turned off. That's how long. I might as well start. Okay, I might have to take back a little bit of what I said because I think I'm gonna do a little more talking. But I think I might be doing it in character, so it'll be a little different. I kind of want to roleplay. It probably will be a conversation with Jack exactly because I can't really do that. Like I could guess what Jack would say in response, but I think what Whimsy's going to do, because she's gonna like tell Jack. Okay, like I can do this in character, but I'm not sure I want to do in character just yet. She's gonna tell Jack something to the effect of, like, okay, I just want you to listen to me for a while, and you know, if you can resist the urge to interject, like you'll know when I'm finished, or I'll just straight up tell you when I'm finished. But like, to make the long story short, like, I think I might start to have feelings for Miranda. Okay, like I guess that's like. And I know what you're gonna say, you son of a bitch. You promised not to, and it's like. Son of a bitch, promised not to, but like I just never thought that I would feel this way. Like, like I made that promise when I thought she was kind of cold and had no like qualities that I could possibly be attracted to. I mean, she has the physical qualities. That's plain as day. But it's almost similar, like I kind of feel like you and Miranda have some things in common, like like, but like with you, it was kind of my curiosity kind of led me to break free your shell, and I don't know, like, and with Miranda it was more like my own natural inclination toward helping people got me to see who, like, you was like the kind of the stubbornness too, like that, you know, I was being kind of relentless. With trying to figure you out and help you figure you out yourself. But like with Miranda, it's more like, again, it was just being my own lovely self, and suddenly she just starts opening up, and now I'm feeling things. And I don't know where they're gonna go. They might not go anywhere, but it means a lot to me if you I guess, support me for this journey. And that you're, like, okay with whatever might happen. I mean, if you need to think of it in a particular way, like, the closer I am to her, the more likely she is to join me when we inevitably betray Cerberus, so... Just think of it as me trying to take away, Cerberus's greatest asset. See what I did there? No? You did, but you didn't find it funny. I should have known better, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and make a roll here. Okay, that's not bad. It's a 10, and she probably has a good, healthy bonus to charisma. So, I'd probably say if it was lower than a 10, she might, like, fail to some degree or other, but it might mean that I need to make another successful roll to, like, later on to fully convince her to be on board. I don't know. I think a part of Jack might even want to freeze him. Like with maybe it's a bit of S&M thrown in. Okay, let's just get away from. Let's get our minds out of the gutter for a second here. And my controller's not working. Why isn't my controller working? Okay. Great. Controller was off too long. And now the controller's not working. I might have to turn off all my Bluetooth devices and turn them back on again. Huh. There's no acknowledgement that like, my controller looks like it's synced. But I don't hear the tling or whatever that tells me it is synced. That's... Okay, I'm gonna... I'm sorry, now like, after I'm potentially boring people with my role-playing, and in my discussion of the things I'm role-playing, I'm hoping it's not boring. I'm hoping it's entertaining to someone. Okay, well, the earbuds are working, but the controller isn't working. And it's not working on a software level. Or like an OS level, because I don't hear an acknowledgement from Windows that it's connected. Let me go to resume stream, or my resume screen. The Windows accepts it as connected. Okay. It just doesn't give me the acknowledgement sound. What about the DualSense X program? The DualSense X program also acknowledges that it's connected. Battery storage is discharging. 0%. How? I'm going to go ahead and close DSX and restart it. I'm going to have to go into Steam and open it because it doesn't want to open from Windows for some reason. Steam input will translate the device so you will be able to play the game, but you might see glyphs that match your device. Okay. I'm not playing the game for Steam. I'm playing it for Origin. Okay, now the controller battery is at 65%, which sounds better. Okay, now it's working. For some reason, DSX thought that my controller was like out of batteries when it wasn't, and just wasn't sending any signals from the controller. I don't know why. Okay, let's talk to Boo. Get his moral advice about Miranda. You make good points, Boo. You're always there for me. Whenever I have a moral quandary.
How may I help you, Commander?
That'll be all.
Good luck out there, Shepard.
I probably have a... Ah, the Death Mother's Deanna. We'll probably get a message from Oriana later. I did. We might start taking Jake, Jack, and Miranda together. Just to kind of roleplay us trying to help them get along more. And I think that's a good choice, is just to like...
Discipline.
deal? Pardon me, I'm dealing with damn Ilium travel bureaucracy.
Were you trying to get them to help you find this locket?
Oh, Stephen, thank you. Thank you so much. My daughter was young when he died. This is the only memento she has of him. Please accept this. It's much less than I would have had to pay the bureaucrats to authorize a search.
Okay.
Are you shorting prefabs?
Why not? I did it after you.
Lots of money here. Soft people who'd make good victims. This place is one bad day away from becoming Omega.
Sure, we're gonna do the Kestrel helmet. Because we like our shades. Like, it's the closest thing we could have to wearing glasses, so.
Do you have anything flashier? I want something that says, I own this room. I own you.
Ilium Entertainment would like to respond to complaints about our upcoming film, Blasto the Jellyfish Stings. The Hanar Anti-Defamation Association claims that our portrayal of Blasto insults Hanar society, going so far as to call it exploitation.
Actually, I wonder, it probably would be harder to get Miranda to start liking Jack than Jack to start liking Miranda. Because with Jack, like, all we need to do is try to appeal to her hatred for Cerberus and just be like, if we get Miranda out of Cerberus, then there will no longer be a problem, will it? Will there? Ooh, more Element Zero. I just probably the best. I should have used this as a place to talk. This is the point where, like, it's very easy to talk over.
Launching probe. Probe launched. Launching probe. Probe launched. Launching probe.
Probe launched. Launching probe. Probe away.
I'm probably going to do a ton of research into the romance mechanics of Mass Effect 3.
Probe launched.
Like, the one romance that I would like to pursue that could potentially butts with some things would probably be Samantha Trainer. I think she might be the only like confirmed lesbian in the entire series. Or well, the entire trilogy, let's put it that way. I can't remember, I don't think PB's... Yeah, PB's... I think all Asari are kind of inherently bi. It probably would be... That would probably be like the one culture where I definitely would say that like bisexuality is standard. And preference is probably the deviants. So it would be interesting to explore that, maybe? Though I'm not sure if Asari would have like a taboo against being attracted more to one gender than the other. Like, the deviants would probably be being attracted exclusively to other Asari. Like, that would be probably the closest, you know, way to, like, to have a kind of analog to like real world things.
Probe away.
I don't really need more iridium. I'm not sure if we need any of these things, but I'm probably one of the people who actually enjoys the planet scanning minigame a lot. It just appeals to my...
Launching probe.
Something about my neurodivergence that, my gatherer instincts.
Launching probe.
Maybe even hunter-gatherer in general. It's just I'm hunting for things and gathering them.
Probe launched. Probe launched. Launching probe. Probe launched.
Also, I'm gonna say this. I think Whimsy's desire to smooth things over between Miranda and Jack, and well, she probably tells to Jack, it's not about me potentially wanting to sleep with both of you. It's or either of you individually, or individually or together. It's more to do with my natural desire to resolve conflicts. Like, heck, that might be something of a neurodivergent trait, at least for me. Because, like, the last time I was part of a team, there was, like, a pretty significant conflict that happened between a couple of... Like, I was part of Province Citadel for several years. At one point, there was a conflict between two of the team members. One of them, I think, ended up leaving anyway, regardless of the... But the conflict itself was resolved, because I think I can't remember the details, but like there's some kind of misunderstanding or something, and I was just going back and forth between them and being like, hey, you know, being the intermediary between them and just being like, hey, like, this is what this person thinks. This is why this person's doing what and saying what they're saying. And, you know, acting as a coordinator between them to, and I think I resolved it pretty neatly. And it's one of the things I feel kind of proud about. Even though I don't remember any of the details, I just remember it was a victory, although maybe a somewhat bittersweet victory, as I think the person who just had other reasons for wanting to leave. I won't even name names. Or name usernames. But,
Broke away.
But if I remember correctly, it involved someone who kind of contributed quite a bit of lore, and then, you know, lore ideas to the project, and basically decided that they wanted to pack their shit and leave. Meaning that they wanted to have the ability to use the ideas they developed in their own, like, fiction and such. And, basically, took away any ideas that he had developed. And actually, when I left, maybe about a year or two afterwards, I kind of ended up doing a similar thing, so I can kind of now see where he's coming from. I'm hoping they're still going to use my ideas, because it might be too late now. They'd probably come up with their own ideas. Because a lot of the ideas I developed were around the city of Such, and there's basically a criminal syndicate that that rules there, and I should really just bite the bullet and just go back there and be like, okay, like, here's what, you know, basically you could use kind of everything I developed if you really want to, if you don't feel like you develop better ideas. What I plan to use is basically the power structure of the organization, maybe for something. I don't think there's gonna be any weird copyright shenanigans that would go on with that, because it's literally an idea and concept, but that's not copyrightable. So. And heck, I still kind of want to try and help further flesh out and develop those ideas. Because, like I said when I left, that, like, you know, once you get ready to work on such, I want to be involved. I think that it's probably been so many years that they've forgotten about me and forgotten that I wanted to be involved. I probably may have burned a bit of a bridge by just even saying that, like, maybe I don't want you to use my ideas.
Rope away. Launching probe. Launching probe. Probe launched. Probe launched.
I should stop scanning.
Launching probe.
I think we just need the land, don't we? Oh, there's element 0. Okay,
Launching
well,
probe.
now we have to scan. I mean, there's a chance we might be good for element 0, but in case
Probe
we're not.
launched. Probe away. Launching probe.
I can't really talk about what my ideas were, because even though I haven't, like, officially signed an NDA,
Probe away.
I want to avoid potential spoilers.
Launching probe. Launching
Yeah,
probe.
I think I might reveal a couple of details. Like, there's a criminal syndicate involved with an interesting power structure of, like, shared leadership. And there's a conflict involving whether or not Such is going to become part of Hammerfell or Cyrodiil. Because, like, right now it's kind of in flux. It's kind of jointly, like, it's right on the border and it's kind of jointly governed by Cyrodiil. It's like the Twin Cities, or it's like Kansas City, effectively. You know, it's yeah. I guess that would be the closest thing. It's like Kansas City, except.
Probe away.
Except with like, I guess some degree of political intrigue. I think the only problem I'd have potentially with the concept of the crime syndicate is that it's in the time since I developed it, it might no longer be considered politically correct. Conceptually too. Because it's a crime syndicate from Hammerfell, or that originated in Hammerfell, and involves Red Guards who are all modeled after African Americans, and yeah, it might be considered too problematic to. There you go. There's the Kestrel. Yeah, those look cool. Oh, there we go. I might just go by. Like all of these are probably. No, that might be the one thing that I'll yeah, and that this is enough gluey bits to satisfy my need for gluey bits. Although this is like the biotic powerhouse really, but between the two of them. But they have enough variance between what they can do that it might actually work out fine. Damn it. Well, they just up and vanished. I ate through all of our heavy weapons ammo, but Wow, that was the end of the mission. But we did it. Let's see what loot there is to be found. Had to perform another full maintenance check. Sand keeps getting into our code, increasing the frequency of system checks. We have to be ready to shut this place down if someone spots us from orbit. Oh, we need to keep the tracks trace intact. Okay. Well, we most of them are intact.
We got him.
May spot in orbit. IFFID confirmed. Cerberus. Beginning farewell protocol. Engaging security systems. Destroy command received. Initiating cleanup routine. Routine initiated. Activating mech security. Mech security activated. Locking access to terminals. Locked. Farewell protocol complete. Oh, we only have like 30 minutes left. I don't know if I'll be able to finish Mass Effect. Like, I guess even if I don't finish Mass Effect 2 before, or if I finish Mass Effect 2 just before, Persona 3 Reload comes out, I'm probably still gonna play through Mass Effect 3. Like, there's too many amazing sounding mods for me to like not play it. As disappointed I am at the polyamorous romance mod not working properly, there seems to be ways to potentially get around it. It might involve a lot of alt-tabbing to the save editor, but I wonder if I have to like roleplay Miranda's interactions with.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
I have to wait until we know Miranda a little better. This is from Oriana. I gotta read this. I hope this is the right Commander Shepard. I'm Oriana. My sister only told me a little, but I don't think it occurred to her that I am as smart as she is. I poked around a little and found an information broker who got me this address. Huh, I wonder who that is. I got to thank her, but I never got to thank you for helping me. My parents don't really understand it, but I know how much Miranda did, how many little things over the years were her looking out for me. I'm not going to tell them. I still want to go to school to get some degrees. But I wanted you to know that I know you saved me. Had a guardian angel all these years. I don't know if my sister has anybody, but she said that she's working for you, and it was pretty clear that you were doing something dangerous. Please make sure she comes back alive, okay? Oriana, P.S. Don't tell her I sent you this. It would just make her angry. P.P.S. Miranda, quit looking at Shepard's messages. Oh, don't act like you don't. It's what I do.
How may I help you, Commander?
Is there anything I should know?
Nothing right now. Anything else, Commander?
That'll be all.
I'll be here if you need anything.
It's unfortunate. I don't think there's any actual love scene involving Kelly. There's just her putting on her sorry stripper outfit and dancing for us. I mean, I guess it does mean that like she might be the only one we're actually getting any from it right now, because we can just have it all happen off screen. But also, I say that like some of the actual love scenes probably happen earlier than others. In fact, I probably would say that for lore reasons, I would probably say that our encounter with Tali happens a lot sooner than is portrayed in game, just because of like the potential repercussions of it. Like, we need to give her some time to recover, okay? Is all I'm saying. Give her immune system. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Commander, what can I do for you?
Do you have a minute, Miranda?
Of course. I'd been meaning to speak with you, in fact. I wanted to apologize. I didn't fully believe you'd be up to the task, and it seems I was wrong. Frankly, based on what I've seen, I wish Cerberus had recruited you earlier.
I trust you, but I don't trust Cerberus. Your experiments cross the line.
All the time, yes. But I recall a Spectre who crossed a few lines while hunting down Saren and the Geth. And we'd be lucky to have you. Too many join us out of simple xenophobia. We need more people here for the right reasons.
Hey.
What was Cerberus trying to prove by experimenting on children like Jack?
A mistake, no question. Not mine. And one that was corrected once we discovered the extent of the experiments being performed.
I saw your bases years ago. You were using Rachni, Thorian creepers, even husks to make your own army.
The husks were already dead. The Thorian creatures were mindless, and the Rachni were abandoned once we understood their intelligence. We weren't breeding an army, we were breeding expendable shock troops for high-risk scenarios. How many soldiers died in Saren's attack on Eden Prime? How many would have lived if we'd had just a dozen Rachni soldiers on our side?
With your intelligence, you could have landed any job you wanted. Why choose this?
Because I still envy the time Morden spent with the Special Tasks Group, working with people as smart as he was. Cerberus never tells me that something is impossible. They give me my resources and say do it. And they've given you even more. A new life, a new ship, the elusive man's personal attention.
The best thing he did was to put you on my squad.
You'd have done fine without me. I may not have believed it before, but I don't have what you do. That fire that makes someone willing to follow you into hell itself. My father got me the best genes money could buy. Guess it wasn't enough.
You always bring up your genetic tailoring. It really bothers you, doesn't it?
This is what I am, Shepard. I can't hide it. The intelligence, the looks, even the biotics. He paid for all of that. Every one of your accomplishments is due to your skill. The only things I can take credit for are my mistakes.
I can't admire your body or your mind. You give your father too much credit. Yeah, he gave you gifts, but you can be proud of what you've done with them.
Oh. Thank you. And perhaps I wouldn't mind if you admired my body.
You wouldn't, huh?
I think I could live with it.
It's only fair. You've had 2 years to look at me, and I was wearing less than you are.
Shepard, wait. I need to think about this.
Scared, Miss Lawson?
Cautious, Commander Shepard. But interested. Very interested. For now, I should work and think. I'll Talk to you later.
I'm probably gonna just say that bisexuality is probably just more common in the future. I think that Whimsy is in general attracted to people who have a very distinct sensitive side. Or maybe even more for someone who, like, you have to work to get to it. Like, it just... It just kind of scratches an itch or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, we need to talk to Morden. We need to see if he has any advice for us on our ever-expanding coterie.
Shepard, how can I help?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Actually, wanted to talk. Medical matters. Aware that mission is dangerous. Different species react differently to stress. Aware that you and Jack are sexually active, or planning to be. Suggest caution. Emotionally unstable biotics dangerous during intercourse.
You have a recommendation as a doctor?
Can give biotic inhibitor to dampen neural receptors, weaken unintentional biotic effects. No guarantees. Suggest padding walls. Biotic ability also gives benefits. Forwarding booklet to your quarters. Includes diagrams, exercises,
I'm
inventive
hoping
uses of
we
mass
get to
effect
see all of
fields.
them.
Can supply oils or ointments to reduce discomfort. Gave ED electronic relationship aid demonstration vids to use as necessary.
Wait a minute, Morden. You're just yanking me around, aren't you?
Shocking suggestion. Doctor-patient confidentiality, a sacred trust. Would never dream of mockery. Enjoy yourself while possible, Shepard. We'll be here studying cell reproduction. Much simpler, less alcohol and mood music required.
Oh, that's... okay.
Shepard, how can I help?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Yes, personal matters on mind, actually.
Oh,
Got
okay,
call
yeah.
from nephew. Promising geneticist himself. Just turned 16, got tenure at university. Following in my footsteps. Had to lie about what I was doing. Think he was
If we
suspicious.
can't see all of
Doesn't
his
matter.
relationship
Still
advice,
good to hear his
I might
voice.
see if there's a YouTube compilation of it.
Does anyone in your family know about what you really did for the government?
No. No, I'm lying, but won't pry. Solarians curious as a people, but also have social cues. Keep two types of secrets from family. First type, personal or guilt-based. Invite suspicion, exploration, puzzle to be solved. Reward for curiosity, intelligence. Drama. Other secrets, more serious. Dangerous if discovered. Signals discourage curiosity for protection of family.
Why wouldn't everyone give clues that their secrets were too dangerous to be uncovered?
Not conscious. Social. Reflexive body language. Can't fake it. Example. Yawning perceived as contagious among humans. Subject observes yawn. Sensory input deactivates left periamygdalar region. Subject yawns in response. Social empathy. Also works with dogs. Solarian faking signals to discourage curiosity, similar to human faking a yawn. Can try, but effectiveness limited.
Are you calling him because you're worried we won't make it back?
No. Aware survival unlikely, but actually contacted him for family connection. Hard to imagine galaxy. Too many people, faceless. Statistics easy to depersonalize. Good when doing unpleasant work. For this fight, want personal connection. Can't anthropomorphize galaxy, but can think of favorite nephew. Fighting for him.
That's one of the best lines in the entire game.
Your nephew got tenure at 16? Is he a genius or a scientific prodigy?
No, wait. Don't want to insult him. Yes, but not in manner you meant. Remember, Salarian lives short, mature rapidly by your standards, don't live much past 40.
I'm glad you got to talk to family before we finish this. And I'm glad we talked too, Morden.
Honored to be part of this, Shepard. Helped preserve Galaxy before with Genophage. Dirty work. Ethically ambiguous. Problematic. Collector's mission simpler, cleaner. We'll be proud to see it in Morden's Solus biography vid. Unless we all die. Proud posthumously, in that case. Regardless. Thank you.
We're gonna talk to him at least once more. I'm not sure how exactly his...
Shepard, how can I help?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Having trouble working between your interruptions and EDI's insistence that insane experiments endanger entire crew. Hard to concentrate. Affecting morale. Anything else?
I'll let you work.
We'll be here if you need me.
I'm hoping the multiple romance mod includes the ability to talk to multiple times about multiple partners. Because that's like one of the best parts of the game. Especially interested to hear his advice for okay, we need one more biotic damage upgrade. That requires a shit ton of platinum, and we don't even need it, so... And this is just armors that we don't like as much. New Inferno armor is cool, but it's a full set of armor. And we might as well make it, I guess. Do we even have... I don't think we're going to have time to do anything else. I don't think
No
there's any
messages
other...
for you, Commander.
We could... Maybe try talking to Samara one more time? We could also see what Cassini has to say about Miranda, maybe.
Hey, got a minute? Good thing you broke up that catfight between Jack and Miranda. I was afraid they'd tear a hole in the hull. Edie has a wicked sense of humor. Or I should say, a really funny lack of one. Sometimes she seems like a person. But when it comes down to it, I can't get past her being a computer. This one security guy keeps staring at me. I think his name is Bert. I'm used to being watched by security, but they're usually staring at my eyes or watching my hands. I might have to start cloaking through the CIC from now on. Come back later. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about.
Shepard.
Anything new?
There is something I've wanted to tell you. I've done many things in my lifetime. I thought the galaxy held nothing new for me. Since joining you, I've realized how much more there is.
You must have seen many things in your years of travel.
As a maiden, I served as a mercenary. I fought tyrants and pirates. I experienced everything the galaxy has to offer. As a Justicar, I saw parts of Asari space few know about. I destroyed villages and saved cities. I even fought a Spectre.
Why did you fight a Spectre?
A Turian named Nihilus. He may have been on council business, but I witnessed him kill an unarmed civilian. Following the code, I attacked.
Nihilus seemed like an honorable Turian, and a good Spectre.
He may have been. However, killing unarmed civilians is wrong.
When we met, I witnessed you kill a merc who had no chance against you.
That mercenary was armed, and I offered her a way out. She chose to ignore it.
He obviously managed to escape.
What have your years as a Justicar been like?
Mostly tedium and hardship. Traveling on freighters, wandering through rural areas, rooting out injustices, big and small, putting down corrupt officials. When I arrive in a remote area, individuals often approach me with matters of justice. My judgment rarely turns out the way they hope.
How do you pay for transportation between worlds?
Asari captains often welcome Justicars. We reduce pirate attacks. One raid was called off when the pirates were able to verify that I was aboard.
Why would you destroy an entire village?
I tracked Morinth to a remote colony world. She'd perverted an entire town, making them worship her and bring young Asari as sacrifices. When I arrived, she fled, throwing her minions at me in waves. They bought her time with their lives. When it was done, only small children remained. I left them in the authorities' care and continued my pursuit.
If we need proof that Morinth is in fact evil and worthy of death, that kind of seals the deal.
What was being a mercenary like?
I was a young, impulsive maiden who discovered her talent for combat. I reveled in it, until the day my troop was hired to guard a mysterious shipment on its way to some clandestine drop-off area. I discovered the shipment was slaves, to be traded to the collectors for advanced technology.
You supported the slave trade?
In my foolish youth, I'd certainly engaged in questionable practices, but never anything patently unjust. I demanded that we turn around. My mates disagreed. After they were dead, I brought the ship around. The collector craft was just arriving. They closed faster than I could flee. Fortunately, we were close to the mass relay. I got through, and they did not pursue.
What did you do with all the slaves?
I lectured them on the virtues of strength and defending oneself. Then I distributed the armor, weapons, and credits of my dead colleagues, and released the captives on the Citadel.
We're not done with this yet.
I am sure. It will be my honor to be by your side at the end.
You think we're all gonna die?
You've assembled a powerful group, but we are fighting an unknown. I am ready for whatever comes, but I do not fool myself about our chances.
We'll finish this mission, and live to see the end.
I hope you are right.
Okay. That brings us to nearly midnight, so I think I'll wrap it up here. There you go. Hey, so as usual, there are a bunch of things you can do. Take a few seconds of your time, as well as some other things that are a bit more involved. But of course, all of that is entirely up to you. I want to start encouraging people to just leave likes and comments and other things. You know, all the things. But yeah, if the Patreon, if you're so inclined. But regardless of what you decide to do, I thank you very much for watching. And until next time, sayonara!